Dolphins Today is presented by Manscaped. If you go to manscaped.com and use promo code Dolphins, you can get 20% off plus free shipping on the Weed Whacker 2.0. We have our first big splash for the Dolphins in free agency. They have found their backup quarterback. The Dolphins are signing former Jets QB Mike White to back up Tua Tagovailoa. It is a 2-year, $16 million deal. Adam Schefter tweeting this out moments ago. Miami is giving former Jets QB Mike White a 2-year deal worth up to $16 million per source. So Mike White's a guy we've talked about as a possible backup quarterback target. Miami has wasted no time. I was not expecting backup quarterback to be the first team need that the Dolphins address. But that is the first signing that the Dolphins have made here in free agency, signing Mike White to a 2-year deal, bringing him back to South Florida. He played high school ball in Fort Lauderdale. And this is why you subscribe, because whenever Dolphins news happens, we're going to have you covered, and it is going to be a wild day and a wild week. So subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything, because if you turn on your notifications, you are going to get an alert on your phone whenever we put out a video. If we put out a video, the Dolphins probably made a move. Again, this is a 2-year deal worth $16 million. He is a South Florida native. He went to high school in Fort Lauderdale, so he's going to back up Tua Tagovailoa. And, you know, I think a lot of Dolphins fans might be a little bit conflicted, because some Dolphins fans might say, oh, you know, they could have done maybe a little bit better. But I like this move. This is a solid signing, bringing Mike White to Miami. He showed some flashes this past year with the Jets. I mean, remember when he was hurt and Jets fans were like, oh my gosh, please come back, Mike White. He definitely was solid in New York. We'll talk about the stats in a second. I don't think the stats tell the full story, though, when you're talking about Mike White. I want y'all to go down and grade the signing of Mike White. Type A, B, C, D, or F down in the comment section. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So when an ad break comes, go down, chime in, grade the Mike White signing, A, B, C, D, or F. I've been talking about, I mentioned earlier how Dolphins fans might be a little bit conflicted about this. Dolphins fans have been chiming in on Twitter. I'm going to give it a B. They could have done worse. They could have done better. I do not dislike this signing at all. Would I have preferred Gardner Minshew? Yeah. Would I have preferred Taylor Heineke? Yeah, but Mike White was a top 5 guy for me when you're talking about a backup quarterback option, because I did not think Jimmy Garoppolo, just signed with Las Vegas, by the way, was a realistic backup quarterback target. I didn't think Baker Mayfield was realistic, because I still think he's good enough to be a starter. Mike White was not going to get a starting job, obviously. He was going to be a backup, and he was one of the better backup quarterbacks available. Now, in New York this past year, threw for over 1,100 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks, had that one really impressive start earlier, a couple months ago at least, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in that start. So Mike White, he had some opportunities in New York to kind of take hold of that starting job, but injury certainly contributed to that not happening. We're going to talk more about this signing here in a second. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Manscaped. They just launched the Weed Whacker 2.0. You can get it for 20% off at manscaped.com with promo code Dolphins. There's nothing worse, and I think producer Coop will agree, than nasty nose hair, ear hair. I mean, if you're on a date and you got ear hair, you're probably not going to get a second date, guys. You want to take care of that ear hair, that nose hair. You can do it very easily at manscaped.com by getting the Weed Whacker 2.0. Go ahead and tell the world the leaders in below-the-waist grooming are traveling north of your South Pole with their revolutionary grooming products. The new Weed Whacker 2.0 and their new beard line confirms they have all the best tools for your hygiene toolbox. Time for you to upgrade your game by going to manscaped.com and using our code Dolphins for 20% off plus free shipping. So get 20% off free shipping. Insert code Dolphins at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, code Dolphins at manscaped.com. They have the performance package over there too. Be sure to check that out. They have the beard hedger. You might notice that my beard has been looking significantly better in the past couple weeks. That's because I've been using the Manscaped beard hedger. So all their products, 20% off plus free shipping, manscaped.com, code Dolphins. So we have an updated look At the new Dolphins quarterback depth chart, Teddy Bridgewater out. Now, he hasn't signed anywhere else, but he's definitely not going to be back. Mike White is in. And Teddy Bridgewater, you bring him back to Miami. He was a South Florida native. It didn't work out as well as I think we hoped. Mike White, Fort Lauderdale guy. You bring him back home to South Florida. He actually expressed a lot of interest in coming to the Dolphins. We'll get into that quote here in a second. But you got Tua is the clear QB1. You pick up the fifth-year option. If you missed my reaction video to that, I don't think you'll get a push notification for that. Go and check that out on our channel from a few days back. Mike White, the clear QB2. You give him $16 million a year. He's going to be QB2. And then Skylar Thompson will have a chance to compete for a job on this roster as QB3. What is your one-word reaction to the signing of Mike White? Go down in the comments section. Let me know. My one word is solid. This is solid. They could have done better, but again, they could have done worse. Now, Mike White got a little bit more than I expected. I was expecting maybe $5 to $6 million a year for Mike White, but the Dolphins paying him $8 million per year. We'll see how much guaranteed money comes out of that. I don't think that number's been reported, but it is a 2-year deal worth $16. So it might be a slight overpay, but it was important for the Dolphins to address this need, getting a backup quarterback in Mike White, who showed some promise with the Jets the last couple of years after his time at Western Kentucky. And Mike White wanted to be a Miami Dolphin. I think he wanted to come home. In fact, he went on the radio in Odyssey, Miami, a few weeks ago and was asked about the possibility of playing with the Dolphins. Here's what he said about his interest level in playing with the Dolphins. 100% I'm interested. Selfishly, from a personal standpoint, obviously growing up down there, I'd love to go home. But from a football standpoint, it's a very talented offense, really good, young group of guys. You can tell they're starting to build something special down there. I would love to be a part of it. So I think that there was some mutual interest to bring Mike White to Miami. And they got it done fairly quickly. We're about, 2.5 hours into the legal tampering period. So there has been a deal agreed to. He cannot officially sign it until Wednesday when the new league year begins. But here's what I'm going to say about Mike White. You can win football games with Mike White at quarterback. I really don't have much doubt about that. You can win football games with Mike White as your quarterback because the Dolphins were 1-4 this past season without Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah, I hope Tua doesn't have to miss time. They need to go out and get some offensive linemen to protect Tua. But if Tua has to miss time again, I think you could win football games with this guy. I would be confident about winning football games with Mike White. And again, I don't think the stats you're looking at right now, I don't think that tells the full story. I think he was better than the stats. The guy is a competitor. He's a gamer. And I really like Mike White as a signing here. Again, I'm going to give it like a B because I would have preferred Minshew or Heineke. But this is really solid. Let me know how you're feeling about this signing on social media. Hit me up on Twitter at WillScott44, on Instagram at WillieFans. I know I've said a lot recently that he's a Dolphin. Well, Mike White is actually a Dolphin right now. Hashtag he's a Dolphin going. Let me know how you're feeling about this move on Twitter. Again, I like the signing. I don't love the signing, but I really, really like the signing of Mike White. He's going to be a really solid backup.